no, this is not what I said. I said the physical cash is deposited into one physical account. Now, the accounting is done by fund. Every dollar goes into one fund.
So it doesn't matter that it's going into one bank account, but it is allocated per fund.
Correct.
You may have one bank account, but we may have 100 funds.
Correct. That is correct.
So are we comfortable that all the money coming into the individual funds were coming back out from those same allocated funds, or were funds from one account spent from a different account? Is that what was going on?
Let me answer on a couple levels. We test the pool cash as it is by our audit procedures. There are account codes. Cash is moved based on how it's spent, which is fine. We test that. One of the big things you want to make sure, which is what I think is the essence of your question, is if it's restricted cash, then is that restricted cash spent inappropriately? We did not find that. So if cash is in the bucket, in the account code, it's expended correctly.
So can you tell if money that came in from the Biscayne Landing original $20 million, did that money go back out for other expenses?
Wow, that's a good question. I would have to look and research that. I know the Biscayne Landing money came in last year, which would have been in our last audit report. I would have to research that and email you an answer.
Okay. The one having to do with Biscayne Landing. So the Biscayne Landing cash that we had was not in the 2012 year-end, September 2012?
Boy, you're pushing my memory. If I remember correctly, it was like 17.1 million or so that came in at or near year-end. If I'm correct, it was journalized in 12. It might have hit the account afterward, but it was journalized as money that was to the city or in the city's coffer in 12.
Because we had a big increase, it looked like on one of your slides.
That's correct.
We had a big increase in cash, but did you show it as extraordinary income from Biscayne Landing? It looks like we had a great year.
Well, right. It looks like you have a great year when you look at aggregate numbers, right. And so it generates a huge difference this year. But, yes, there will be an account code that would code that money as Biscayne Landing. Now, maybe that ain't what it says, but we would know that that account code represents the Biscayne Landing deal.
Last question.
Yes, ma'am.
The information you get, do you go right into our books and our accounting system, or is the information provided to you by staff?
Provided by staff for the most part. We are not allowed to make any entries or do anything with any client system.
Not make entries, but you don't. But all the information you get and all the auditing you do is with information that is provided to you by our staff.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. In previous years, you've pointed out that we have an issue with commingling our funds, that federal grant, state grant money was going into the general account.
Good question. Good point.
Has that stopped now? I didn't see you mention that in tonight's presentation. Have we stopped doing that? Because I know that's apparently something that the feds and the state don't want us to do.
What our issue was, as reported in prior years, was that the grant monies was coming in, was put into one bucket. It was not allocated per grant per fund. And so we wanted to see, based on our grant testing, that we could specifically see if it came in for this, it was tracked for that, so that we could make sure it was allocated. Based on my memory, for this year we didn't have that problem. We were able to clear that hurdle.
Okay.
So we've gotten better in that regard.
Sure. Yeah, and tonight's report seemed better on a few counts, but I'm disturbed to see some of the same things about accounts receivable not being made timely, that financial statements aren't being given to council, that there's a CRA budget discrepancy. To me, those are issues. There's a reason I've been saying recently that we have reason to look deeper into our finances in North Miami, and it's based in great part on the audit reports we've had the past years and the knowledge that there was this team brought in with without the council's awareness to track things in the books, and none of that was communicated. When our staff that we pay good money to is not telling the council that publicly or privately, it scares me. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Can I ask the last question? There was a question asked about if staff providing you with the information, and you said yes. So is it just you or any auditor that we hired, staff would have to be the one that provided the information, or otherwise?
Yeah, in a true independent audit format, they're going to make a request list, 20 items, 100 items, and then the staff will normally pull those items. In some cases, you may give remote access or view-only access, but either way it go, it's still information from the staff because they put it in, and we may view it or print it, but it's still staff-provided information.
Thank you.
Do I have a question in the audience? Mr. Privatel, can you come forward and ask your question?
Thank you. William Prevatel, 11950 North Bay Shore Drive. I was just wondering if we might be able to, the slides went by kind of quickly off some of the numbers. If we could return to the slide that has the 2.6.
You know, we don't have citizen forum. Just a quick question.
Yeah, well, it's a quick question. I'll do it
answer.
before. Okay, it's basically the slide that ends in a $2.6 million deficit. If we might be able to just take another quick look at that and then ask what the ramifications.
Do you remember? Can you give him some
I have
explanation?
the slide here. I don't know
Okay.
if it's reflected on the TVs.
Okay.
I have the slide here,
Okay.
which
What
I
it is?
think is what he's referencing.
It is there now. What is
My eyes were tricking me. I thought
2.6?
2.6.
Can you give us an explanation? Why is that?
He wants an
that
explanation.
deficit. I was going to ask for an explanation based on last year.
You wanna answer?
I'm not digesting the construct of the mathematics that the revenues are
Okay.
taken
That's
off.
revenue
The
or
revenues are
expense-
55 and
expense-
something else is 62, and I don't know how the difference is $2 million.
Absolutely. Good question. I'm going to give you one slice. Is number one, this bottom half of the slide is referring to all governmental funds. Okay, so that's number one. We're looking at revenue and expenses. And then the last line you see where it says changes in fund balance, including other financing sources. Right, so it's some the bottom line, it says including other financing sources, and so there are other items that's not in the revenue, not in the expenditures, your transfers in and outs and some other stuff that's causing that number to be 2.6. So what we would have to do is either once we issue the full CAFR, is then allow you, or you would see where the mathematical difference is. So what we're trying to do in this slide, and Councilman Gavin kind of hit it on this, is to give you a broad brush. Here's the revenues, here's expenses, here's your net, but it includes some other financing sources. There's some other things going on in there that makes this number.
In that may be
Right,
bad.
right.
That
But once
2.6.
Yes, sir. When we issue our CAFR, all of the detail will be in it, and the numbers will tie to the dollar.
I think what Mr. Privatel want to say is
looks like
we have a budget deficit of 2.6 million.
Well, I want to correct one thing you said,
really
if I
seven.
can. It is not a budget deficit. This is a audited deficit.
Okay.
All right. Your budget is what we think is going to happen. Now we're looking at what did happen. And so it is a very critical link that should be made. So if I could just splice that one hair, it is not a budget deficit. This is an audited actual deficit that we are reporting.
So the actuality is that we're closer to $7 million behind on the raw revenue and expense side. Aside from the other figures, the raw revenue, raw expense,
Right.
$7 million deficit. And my question is, what are
Okay.
the ramifications, what are the remedies, and what is the time frame to resolve such an issue?
Okay.
And why wasn't the $7 million sort of brought up rather than the 2.6 and glossed over? Thank you.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to try to answer this. And have it simple because it's more complicated than. This is where your budget actually meets your real numbers. Don't forget, in 2012, you got that surplus, that big increase in revenue. What's going to happen is the following year is when you're going to start using up that money. So it might show as a deficit where actually what the revenue is all the property taxes and all the income for that year. Your expenditure for that year was more than your revenue by $6 million because in the previous year you actually had money to spend this year. Am I making sense, or I hope?
To some extent, I don't know. I think that's something that the council really needs to digest. It's not necessary for me, but I am concerned by that
Like we're going
number.
to a budget deficit again.
What I'm saying is your budget is annual document. So you always have to analyze it, and what was my fund balance, what was my position in 2012. If in 2012 I ended the year with a surplus in my fund balance, that leaves next year for me to spend more than I'm bringing in, because I have the means.
Thank you.
It's
Next
a concern I
question.
hope we look in.
Next question.
Thank you.
Next, nobody has any other questions. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you so much for allowing Harvey Covington and Thomas of South Florida to serve the mayor and the council. We look forward to serving you going forward. And once again, I will close with the point is I am available to any of you, even the appointed officials, to sit with you and talk one-on-one at any time.
Let me ask you a question. If you are talking to a simple resident who don't know that much about financing, about budget, and they're gonna ask you for some recommendation to the council, what will it be? 1, 2, 3. Like
simple metrics.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look at cash. I'm gonna look at revenue in to date, and I'm gonna look at expenses. Those are gonna be my 3 management points. If I'll make it better. If I'm teaching it to my son, and I'm saying, son, if you want to manage any business, cash on hand, revenue to date, and my expenditures. In other words, what's my burn rate? What's my money coming in, going out? And then how can I sustain myself? Do I have enough cushion to sustain myself? Those would be my 3 metrics that I would give to
Do you
any.
think we have enough?
Based on what I'm seeing here, I think we're okay. But once again, we have to manage going forward. So if you go and burn 20 million tomorrow, my answer today is no good, because I didn't know you were going to burn 20 million tomorrow.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm available.
No other question. City events.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Pam Solomon, and I have a few highlights of our special events to share with you this evening. I know I will be brief so we can head into the actual meat of the council meeting. Next Friday is Independence Day. We invite you to our North Miami Independence Day celebration by the Bay. Those of you in attendance this evening received a card on your seat that promotes our event. It's, of course, Friday, July 4th. Gates open at 7 p.m. at FIU Biscayne Bay campus on the grounds of the Coven Center. Free admission, free parking. We will have food available for purchase from a variety of food vendors. And we are also featuring a concert by Karina Iglesias. She's from the NBC hit show The Voice. So we'll have live musical entertainment and, of course, a spectacular fireworks show over Biscayne Bay. The event concludes around 10 p.m. So please plan to attend. Bring your families and friends, your neighbors, and you can bring a blanket, lawn chairs to enjoy the evening out. For more information, visit northmiamifl.gov/celebrate. As you know, we celebrated education, our education initiatives this evening. We also have the North Miami Educational Foundation Scholarship, where applications are still available through July 1st, which is next week. So if you are a high school senior that recently graduated and you live in North Miami, we invite you to log on to the website at northmiamifl.gov. Right in the top left hand in our NoMi spotlight, we have our foundation application link. And that's where you can download the application so that you can complete it and submit it to the City of North Miami by July 1st. It will be evaluated by the foundation board, and the scholarships will be awarded for this coming school year for college-bound high school graduates. You must be a degree-seeking student for that application. Also, on the back of our card that we distributed this evening, we have our backpack and school supply donation drive. It's an annual donation drive that our mayor and council support and host each year. We invite you to bring your donations here to North Miami City Hall on the second floor lobby through July 25th. And we will also be giving out those backpacks with the school supplies at our Back to School Bash and Resource Fair, which will take place on Saturday, August 2nd. More information on northmiamifl.gov/celebrate on our Back to School Bash, as well as our school supply donation drive that we're having throughout the summer. And a few quick announcements first on behalf of the Florida Department of Transportation's District 6. We do have a construction alert that they've issued, and it impacts Northwest 125th Street. They will be closing Northwest 125th Street just from Northwest 7th Avenue to Northwest 8th Avenue. That one block area will be closed this Thursday, and the bus stop will not be accessible at that juncture as well. So that's this Thursday, the 26th of June. And for more information, you can always visit f.miamidade.com for all of their FDOT construction alerts as well. And last but not least, the North Miami administrative offices, including City Hall, and our all of our offices will be closed next Thursday, July 3rd, as well as Friday, July 4th, in observance of the Independence Day holiday. Thursday, July 3rd is an employee furlough. Friday is the holiday. So we hope everyone enjoys a happy and safe July 4th and come out to visit our Independence Day by the Bay celebration. Thank you.
Pam, this year we won't have a DJ. We're going to have live music.
We'll have both, a DJ and live music.
Live music by who?
Karina Iglesias from NBC's hit show The Voice.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Can I hear a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Yeah. Mr. Mayor, as a point of order, there are some amendments that we have to announce on the record. Getting back to Section 5. Yes, sir.
Okay,
yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. City Manager, do we have any addition, deletion to the agenda?
Yes, I do. Tab D, D as in dog, is a quasi-judicial item that is going to be moved under number 10, C as in Charlie. Tab J is going to be pulled based on additional information that was presented to me earlier today.
Tab J?
J.
G or J?
J. And based on the pension board's meeting today, there's 2 minor amendments to tab K.
And Mr. Mayor, the amendments proposed for tab K, which is the ordinance, those amendments can be articulated on the record when we get to that item.
For on tab K?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, because you do not have a copy of those amendments, because those amendments were made by the pension board this morning.
Okay.
So we will announce the amendments orally, and it's up to you to...
There's no way to postpone it for the next council meeting?
You can hear the
Is
amendment.
Major amendment?
No, and I will articulate the amendments, and you are authorized to approve the ordinance as amended, and then on second reading, it will have the amendment.
Okay, that's fine.
Mayor, real quick, we need a vote on the consent agenda. We did get a motion from Councilman Galvin.
And I seconded.
Yes, we just need a
Anyone which you recorded no?
Item passes 4-0. All right. Tab C. Proposed resolution of the Vice Mayor as acting mayor and City Council of the City of North Miami, Florida, authorizing the City Manager and City Attorney to negotiate and execute an agreement between the City of North Miami and R.J. Barr and Company, Inc. as a consultant for the provisions of civil engineering services required for the waterline design and construction project along Northeast 16th Avenue and Northeast 146th Street and Northeast 18th Avenue in accordance with request for qualifications number 38-09-10, continuing professional architectural and engineering services in the amount not exceed $117,587.37, providing for an effective date and for all other purposes.
And can you give us some explanation about tab C, or asking the public work director to
I
come
think
forward?
I-
You can
I
do
can
that? Okay.
Tab C, what Tab C is actually this item is funding for the improvements to the fire flow system, which is lines greater than 8 inches in diameter. The city actually did a study which was done by Hazen and Sawyer to improve the water supply system and the fire flow demand within the city. Certain areas of our system needed improvements. These are one of the prioritized areas that has already been identified, and this section is going to be designed by RJ Bihar for the cost of 117,000.
Okay, that's going to be design.
This
not
is only the
studies.
design that's correct.
We already
This-
conduct the study.
The study and everything is done for the whole city. This is just the design for that specific section that is in the staff report.
Thank you. Tab C is now open for public hearing. Public hearing is open on tab C. Public hearing is open on tab C. Public hearing is open on tab C.
Good evening, City Council. My name is Donald Dominique. I'm a resident of North Miami. How are you doing, Councilman Scott Galvin? We spoke on the phone.
Are you talking on the item? Public hearing on the item, tab C.
On which
We're going to have citizen forum after.
on which I could just discuss issues on North Miami?
No.
On,
We are discussing on one item,
It has to
tab
be.
C.
It has to be germane.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right
And
now, right now.
if you
All right, but when can I talk
if you
about
want to
something
talk
general?
At the end.
about on citizen forum, it's going to be at the end.
At the end,
We move it to
I
the
could talk
end.
to something about general.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anything related
What time
to,
would that be?
to the city. We don't know what
Hopefully
time it's going to be.
Yeah, hopefully soon.
Okay?
All right. All right.
We're going to have, you're going to have time. Don't worry. Public hearing is now open on tab C. Public hearing is now closed. Is there a motion on tab C?
Move approved.
No discussion?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? No discussion? Anyone wish to recognize a no? To record a no on the item?
Item passes 4-0. Tab E. For the
E.
record, we're skipping tab D. It was moved to the quasi-judicial matter, so we're on tab E. E is in East. Proposed resolution of the Vice Mayor as acting mayor and the City Council of the City of North Miami, Florida, approving the allocation of $2,700,000 toward the creation of the 2014 Single-Family Beautification Program, with Phase 1 of the program ending this fiscal year utilizing $800,000 from the District 3 Capital Improvement Allocation, and the remaining $1,900,000 will be identified and allocated in the 2014-2015 fiscal year budget for Phase 2 of the program, and further approving the guidelines for the beautification program, providing for an effective date and for all other purposes.
Before I want to call the CPND to come forward
Tanya?
and give us some explanation before I make a motion on.
Tanya
on the
Wilson
item.
Sejour, for the record, with Community Planning and Development. Just to give some background information on this item, the city staff is proposing the 2014 Single Family Beautification Program in response to the need that we've had. Basically, over the years, staff has received a greater demand for housing rehabilitation and repair, more so than the supply that we've had of federal funding. So we're proposing that a city-funded program be established, particularly to support the needs of the elderly and disabled residents in the city. I'm just going to describe the criteria that's being proposed for the program. It's designed for owner-occupied units. The applicants must own and occupy the single-family units only. With an annual household income, it must be at or below 80% of the area median income. So in essence, it's anyone that's making less than $43,500 for a family of two. Priority will be given to households that include the elderly or disabled property owners, and funds are available on a first-come, first-served basis. And then the last criteria says the home must not have any violations or liens unless the violations can be resolved by the program assistants. In terms of the properties that would be qualified for this program, the property must be substandard and in poor condition. The property must be located within the city of North Miami. Property must be a single family and entirely used for residential purposes, with the unit occupied by the applicant. The property must be zoned residential for residential use. The property must not be bank-owned. The applicant's property tax obligation must be current at the time of application for the program. Just to describe the types of repairs that we're focusing on for this program, and it's only for exterior paint or single-family structures, for replacement of doors, exterior doors, repaving of driveways, replacement of older windows with hurricane impact windows, replacement of fascia and or soffits and or gutters. Just to describe in terms of the burden that we've had with over 60% of North Miami's housing stock being more than 50 years old. We can all agree that we have an older aged housing stock. There's a lot of deterioration in the housing stock, and we typically get a very high demand for repairs. The program is really focused on facade for the exterior of the property. In terms of the structuring of it, we're proposing that it be a grant program for not to exceed $10,000 for each funding that's issued. In terms of the source, we're requesting that funding be provided from the District 3 funds for the first phase of the program so that we can immediately begin to administer that program this summer. And then with consideration that the second phase be funded for fiscal year 2014 for an amount of $1.9 million. The total pot that we're requesting is for $2.7 million. We're trying to target at least 270 properties in North Miami that are in disrepair and in need of assistance, with particular emphasis on the elderly members of our community and the disabled.
Thank you. And I think some people may think $2.7 million is a lot of money, but we're talking about 227 homes, and we're gonna give priority to our seniors, and especially those people who lives only with a social security check, and we're gonna use it only for single families.
Correct.
And we're not gonna go with loan people who are in loan modification. We're gonna go with people who's not more than 90 days past due. You may be 1 month or 2 months behind, but we're not gonna give it to foreclosure and investment properties. It's gonna be for single family. And in the list, like you said, first come, first serve, and the elderly gonna have the priority. And before I make any suggestions, come up with any motion, I wanna hear from the public. That's why I'm gonna open public hearing on tab E. Come forward.
Good evening. My name is Marie Samuel. My address is 12725 Northeast 12th Avenue. And currently, they're working on my house right now. But
who's working on it?
You are working on my house. You just did a
The city.
What?
The city.
Right.
Okay.
You.
I understand.
I have to ask Mrs. Ajor, where is the second half going to be? Because the first half talks, the first part talks about District 3. Where is the second half going to be?
Where the money, you're talking about the rest of the money?
What area?
Throughout the city.
Right.
Throughout the city. In the whole city.
Oh, throughout the whole city.
The rest, yeah. The second part, the second phase is going to be throughout the city.
Okay, and how do the homeowners pay you back?
It's a grant.
Is this a no payback grant?
It's a grant.
It's a grant.
Okay, then we have a problem.
Okay.
Because the I don't know at which time this was created, but right now I have a lien placed on my house
by
the city for the roof that they did.
Okay.
And that was...
Let's say if you live in the house for 7 years, you won't have to pay that money back. if that happened, that you sell it before 7 years, you're going to have to reimburse the rest of the money.
Right, I understand all that, but my question is, now they're working on the hurricane impact windows and doors, and they're going to put another lien on my house. So
No, but I don't know if you're going to apply for it.
well, the question I'm going to ask you is, can right tomorrow I'm having a walkthrough. Can that be delayed until this is approved so that I don't have to have another lien put on my house?
Okay, but this one we said is a grant. They're not going to put any lien on your house.
They're both grants. One is a 7-year payback
Yeah, but
grant.
I understand that.
Well, that's why I asked you,
But this one is going to be free.
Okay.
To the residents. It's giving you back your money.
Right, but if I do the one that I'm working on now, I have to pay you back within 7 years.
No, you don't have to pay it back. If you sell the house.
No, I'll let
She's
Tanya
talking about
explain.
something totally different.
It's a separate program. I'll let Tanya explain.
Okay.
If I could clarify, it's really a forgivable loan. So for every year that you stay in the house, that portion is forgiven. Within 7 years, there is no debt. It's just an opportunity to ensure that when funds are provided, that the property owner stays within that home for a given period.
Okay, we put the lien for 7 years.
Correct.
But they don't.
And then we do a release on the lien after 7 years.
Before, if you stay in the house after 7 years, you're free. They're going to take out the lien.
Right, but my question is it the one I have now, or is it this one that's coming up?
This one that's coming up.
Oh, so is going to be a lien?
No, it's not going to be.
I have to clarify, Mr. Mayor,
Explain.
for the benefit of the mayor and
No,
council,
let's-
just a quick clarification.
Yeah.
In terms of the program that Ms. Samuels is referring to, this is a federally funded program. There are obligations to the federal government that you establish a restrictive covenant.
Yeah.
We're saying our city program is intended to be more flexible. We're trying to make sure that we put that money out very quickly on the street to the elderly and the disabled. So we have that flexibility to not
That's when
enforce it with
when it comes to a program, you have to be in compliance with the federal government.
Correct.
Exactly.
But we, the city, have the flexibility to make it more accessible
Flexible,
to the elderly. So it's our option.
Are you okay with the answer?
I still don't understand it.
May I for a minute? I think she's referring to a specific. She's being in one of your program, Tanya. Now she's in.
She's in one of the programs right now.
Okay,
and
maybe
there's a 7-year payback period.
That's what I understood. Maybe this is you have to refer her to a staff member that will go through this process with her, because I think that she's asking us a question totally different than what we're talking about, because it seems like she's having a walkthrough tomorrow and she wants to know, can we delay the process of putting a lien in her house and all that good stuff. So why don't you, Mr. City Manager, assure her that after the meeting or tomorrow she can sit down with a staff member and go through
that. Okay.
Questions or answer all the questions that she needs.
Oh, are you okay?
Sound good?
Tomorrow you can.
Beautiful.
Right. I just want to make sure you understand what I'm saying. If it's possible that if I turn down the one I have now, could I apply for this one?
You cannot turn it down.
If you sit down with staff tomorrow, they will address it.
Tomorrow
we'll that's clarify. Another question. Wait. They haven't started working on your home.
No, but
that's the question. They haven't started. She wanna know if she stopped that, will she be able to apply in the other one that's going to be a free money?
Yes, that's right.
I think maybe that's the question she's asking.
That is what I'm asking.
No, what you going to do? You're going to answer? No, wait. When we finish with her. They haven't, is that correct? They haven't started?
You're absolutely right, yes.
Okay. Can you answer that? What do you think of a question like that?
Just to clarify, there are already agreements executed. We have contractors that are already in place, and there's going to be a walkthrough tomorrow. So
okay, in your case,
I was going to say if the agreements have already been executed, yeah, and I'm sorry, and what you're referring to as a lien is really a covenant. Correct. It's not a lien. But I just wanted to make that clarification. You're not being liened.
I understand your question. I think we're going to sit down with staff, see if she can cancel her contract.
The ship has left the port,
agreement.
But it's up to the
the
other signatory to the agreement to decide.
Like who?
It's the city. If she doesn't want us, really we don't go there. I mean, this is
if she said no.
We've walked right up to the aisle. The pastor is about to ask us to exchange vows.
Yeah.
But if anybody in the room has any problem, speak now or forever. She's speaking now.
Absolutely.
She doesn't want this grant. let's tear up the paperwork tomorrow and allow her to apply under the new program if it's approved, because we haven't approved this yet tonight.
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you.
We're
Mr.
flexible,
Gallagher.
just as long as we get that in writing.
Okay, okay.
We can participate in the
Okay,
ceremony, we're
okay.
fine.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, as long as she meets the criteria for the
Yeah,
existing,
we understand.
we will go through the process.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Yes, sir. Yeah. Wait. What happened?
Just to clarify, the program that Mrs.
No,
Samuels
we
has been
okay.
approved.
You
No, it's
will-
an important clarification.
Oh, okay. Mhm.
It's a clarification that's important. This program that's being proposed is strictly for facade. What
Oh.
Mrs. Samuels was referring to is a roofing program and other
I
additional
thought I heard
things.
you say doors, windows, elderly, disabled.
It's
Yeah,
everything
door.
external.
But no roof, no inside.
It's a facade program, Ms. Samuels.
Internal rehab.
Front door, windows,
Right, that's what I
soffits,
need.
soffits.
Citizens
fascia
is knocking
board.
at my door saying, do it.
No,
And that's,
excuse me.
I heard her
Under
say.
this program that we are about to approve, there will be restriction. Whereas that one, she's gonna have tomorrow, we have up to. Her program, we can only install that program will probably be able to open probably 2 or 3 windows, or walk away from the doors, or don't do the shutters, whatever it is. We'll have up to $10,000. Whereas the one we're gonna have tomorrow will be up to $25,000. I want her to have the clarification when we schedule the walkthrough, if we only give her 3 windows, for her to think like we're gonna give her 5 windows.
Sit down with her, please.
Yeah. Sit down and
please,
explain
let's-
her.
right,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
I just want to tell you that so far I have a I have a specification, no monetary amount. When I have the walkthrough, hopefully they'll give me a monetary amount.
Okay.
And Aline, may I
Okay.
jump in on this? Marie has to call, she doesn't have to. Marie calls me absolutely every day, and we spend about a half hour on the
Yeah.
phone talking about her situation. She should not have to do that. I would please ask that staff, as a team, sit with her, meet with
She
her.
don't
in
even know how
person.
much money she's gonna
Right.
get.
And
How much it's
make
gonna
it
cost to do
clear.
the job. And tomorrow we're gonna come to her house.
Councilman, I'll take care of it.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Yes, my name is Chris Manson, 435 Northwest 124th Street. I know they mentioned it was going to be an elderly program for the
We
elderly.
know they're gonna have the priority.
Priority,
Yeah.
yeah, but what is the age, the elderly?
When we're talking about
bracket?
seniors,
Okay, what is the age?
Over
We're talking
55,
about
I think, or
55,
62.
60, 70, or, I mean,
we have guideline. When
Okay, what's the guideline?
When there's a senior, it's 62, right? Social.
We're going to track it with the federal guidelines.
Yeah.
HUD tells us 62, we'll keep that consistent.
Correct. It's
We
based
said
on the
first
federal
come,
guidelines.
first serve, but the priority gonna be for the elderly.
Okay, all right, yeah, but I just wanted to find out what was the age bracket. Okay,
You're
so
not in
60
that bracket. Don't worry.
No, but I may know someone else that's in that bracket. But at the same time, to touch on her, I mean, I just want to touch on that for a minute. She was asking the questions. Basically, I mean, like you were saying, that one program is federal, okay, where you have to use covenant means.
But to answer that question, you got to understand.
Okay, but
This
then-
one,
but
the
then other
maximum
one
is
a different
10,000.
program. The other one is not with the federal program. So yeah, if the city wanted to lean, then yeah, you couldn't combine those two because one would be federal, then the other one would be in the city.
Okay.
So
Thank
basically
you
just
for
on
the
that.
clarification. Okay.
Okay. All
Thank
right,
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
William Prevotel, 11950 North Bay Shore Drive. And for the record, I'd like to be clear that I am 100% behind beautification of the city, 100% behind helping out the elderly and those who are disadvantaged and in need.
The
So
front,
very
not
much for that.
inside. We're not going to go inside. We're not going to do any kitchen, cabinet,
Well,
any roof. Is going to be
Here are
facelift.
just a couple thoughts or a
Painting.
couple concerns to share, if I may. One is, if it's coming from federal government, that too, 100% for getting as much as we can from the federal government, from state levels and such. That's great. If it's sort of a pass down, that's wonderful. If it's a matching grant, that may be what this is, that's also good. If it's coming straight from the taxpayers of the city of North Miami, it sort of raises questions. I'm very privileged and very thankful to be able to be a property owner here. But I wonder in the case of if you had a street with a citizen on one side of the street and another elderly citizen on the other side of the street, and one is renting, yet one has the advantages of actually owning property.
No,
which is
on
private.
property, we already specify.
Yeah,
no
that's right.
renters.
Right.
No
well,
investment.
Exactly. So we have two seniors. One happens to rent, one happens to have the advantages of owning.
Sir,
both of them are paying taxes.
Privatel.
Both of them are paying
Privatel.
taxes, yet one, the advantaged one,
Privat-
is going to get the benefit of the
we don't have the money to taking care of everybody.
No.
That's why we selecting people.
Well, that's why. But
We
we're
said
selecting the
owners.
advantaged over the disadvantaged, and I don't know if that's inherently the correct way of doing things. On the other hand,
we're
rather
not
than-
helping people, we're helping home in the city. We want to
I can
increase our
appreciate that.
property tax values.
Okay,
that's
but
what,
it's
that's our
not-
main concern. That's our main priority.
Okay.
That's what we want to do.
Price don't want to be- But it's essentially to those who are somewhat advantaged, like myself. I admit this.
Mhm.
It's like getting $10,000 and putting it in your pocket, or saying, okay, now I get that advantage in my value of the property, as opposed to someone who's renting or passing by, or someone who's less advantaged, or someone else who doesn't have the wherewithal to apply for this program. So it's really very selectively going to a few individuals, compared to the possibility of us taking the same amount of money, unless, again, the ramifications, guidelines, and stuff are such that we can't do this. But I think common money should be spent on common assets, the street, the landscaping, beautification,
We're gonna
the
do
parks and
that.
such.
We're
That would
doing
be
that.
in that particular
We're doing
neighborhood.
everything.
Or that we lessen the amount, and we can spread this out further. We can go buy the paintbrush and put plants on a few of the
We
trees, not
understand, but
$10,000 per
you
unit.
need to understand that property someone rent is an investment property.
Yeah, but they may not be able to get the money, whereas someone who owns it and lives in it will. So there's a disadvantage. There's an inequality.
That investors,
that could.
you're investors. You're making money.
I'm trying to speak up for the people the elderly who may not have the advantage of owning their own property. They will be disadvantaged by this. They are putting money into a
I
pot
understand
that's going
that.
across the
I
street to their
understand,
neighbor.
but they're putting the money in the push of an investor.
Okay, I don't know if I'm quite
Thank you.
understood, but thank you.
Public hearing is still open on.
Yes,
E.
Chris
Mhm.
Manson again. I know we're going to use this monies for beautification, change the doors, and we was talking about the elderly. How about if we use some of this monies to probably help the elderlies upgrade some of the old air conditions that can kind of help bring their their light bill costs down, and weathering the home. So the windows, change out these windows, which I know you say you're going to do that, so the air's not escaping in the doors and what have you. So I mean, if we're going to be using this to paint the whole city, I mean, let's help the elderly. Let's help some of these people bring some of their costs down, as far as the water bill, the light bill.
Let me explain you how we're going to bring the cost down. You know, right now, if you have a home, you own a property, you does not have impact windows, you need shelters.
Right.
If not, your insurance premium going to be increased by almost $2,000. That's mean if we put shelters, if we put impact windows, we're going to help them save about $2,000 a year in insurance premium. That's saving.
Okay, yeah, I understand that.
We cannot save everything.
I know,
but
I know.
we don't have the money to do everything. We just try to come up with something for the community. You need to understand we don't have a lot of money to spend.
Right. Yeah, I know, but simple stuff like insulation, you know.
That's simple stuff.
I mean, the
$2,000 in your insurance
insulation in the
premium. It's a
house.
lot of money.
Right, yeah, it's a lot of money, but one impact window is like about $300, $400 just for one impact
No, it's
window.
not. It's not. It's not.
Oh, yeah, where you
No,
get
it's
it from?
not.
Let me know so I can go buy it.
It's not. $300 is not.
Okay.
And-
All right,
and
thank
through
you.
the mayor,
I just had an appraisal, and at my home, it was Home Depot tell me it's about $17,000 for impact windows. That's mean
Oh,
it's
for
a
your-
lot of
for
money.
your house, 17,000?
Yeah.
How many windows?
I'm living on a simple
No, I'm saying how many
3
windows?
bedrooms, about 9
9 windows, okay.
for impact windows.
Okay.
That's
All
when
right,
it's
good.
a
Okay,
lot.
I'll check it-
We
I'll
are
check 'em
investing
out.
a lot of money on people on the
Yeah,
properties.
I mean, we appreciate it. I mean, the whatever the city is doing, we thank you
Yeah.
for that. But at the same time, too, I was looking
We
at
try
some
to
of the
increase the
costs,
property
you know,
values
as far as bringing
of
the light
the
bills down.
house.
And,
Yeah.
and
Thank
through the
you.
mayor, the energy efficiency program that FPNL has actually addresses all the concerns that you're talking about. If you go onto their website, they have, and there's also a grant program and also a payback program that FPNL offers as part of the incentive high efficiency program and energy efficiency program.
Right, right. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Josh Karen, how are you?
Karen Mills Francis, how you?
How are you?
It was almost 9 o'clock before we got to business tonight. I guess we're getting a little bit better. I looked at the supporting documents for this item online, and the only time I saw District 3 mentioned was in paragraph H, I think. And even tonight in the presentation, I did not hear that $800,000, this $800,000 is going to District 3. And I want to preface by saying that, Mr. Mayor, as our councilman for District 3, I have to commend you. Coming here today, I came down West Dixie, that tired fountain that I have been looking at for years, drip, drip, drip water. I always wonder why we have that fountain. It's flowing with water, and it's been landscaped, and it's beautiful because you've done it. You're bringing in calming circles. I've lived 13 years, and they've not done a thing. You're bringing in stop signs. You're bringing in landscaping. You're doing a lot for District 3, more than just about anybody I can remember in recent history doing for District 3. But I don't think that you could come through the back door for something you couldn't get through the front door. Let us be very clear. District 3 got $1.5 million last summer. And this is the third time that I see you trying to steal this money back away from District 3. Do you remember my big fight?
I'm going to explain you.
Okay, but wait a minute. My big fight with Miss Tondro about this money.
I remember.
Okay, you come down Biscayne Boulevard in the city of North Miami. If you coming from up north, never been to the city of North Miami, you come down Biscayne Boulevard, you think, North Miami is a really beautiful city. Look at these Fiat dealerships. Look at Whole Foods over there. Oh my God, the best Publix in Dade County. Then you make a right turn down 123rd/125th Street, start heading towards downtown. Now we're getting into District 3 and District 4. It looks raggedy. Okay, and then I went on your website. You got the SHIP program, the Hardest Hit Fund, the HUD Community Block program, the Neighborhood Stabilization program, the First Time Home Buyer program, the PAINT program, the Rental Assistance program, and this place still looks like a dump. I think that when you say we're going to help, I'm assuming it's going to help District 3.
I'm going to come.
If it's going to help District 3,
It's going to help.
That's
Don't.
If everybody got the $10,000, that's 800 houses in District 3. I would like to see this money used in District 3. And the last thing I want to say, and I noticed you didn't keep anybody to 2 minutes tonight like you did me last time. What I'm concerned about is an impasse here tonight if you vote on it. Because if it doesn't pass, if it's 2-2, or if it doesn't pass, then we have to wait until after the election and we have a new mayor here, and this means that we again get tied up here in District 3 with nothing being done.
You're going to be happy.
Make me happy.
Have a seat.
No, I want to.
You're going to be happy. Don't worry.
No,
Relax. Just chill. You're going to be happy.
What, is something about to happen? Is somebody going to jump out of a cake?
Councilman Scott Galvin going to make you happy. Have a seat. Public hearing is still open on tab E.
Good evening. Beverly Hilton, 12495 Northwest 6th Avenue. I am for helping the senior. My question is, how will the grant be implemented? And will the resident be restricted to the city assigned contractors? Can there be a owner builder contract? Because what I
we're not gonna. I don't think we're gonna give the money. I think the city gonna perform the job.
The city itself.
No, not city. I'm talking about maybe the city gonna go to a procurement
A
and
city
whatever.
approved contractor.
Yeah.
Right. That's what I'm saying, because the city approved contractors, the rate inflates. I'm telling you straight up because I've had that experience.
I
had my house painted, and If they'd give
If
me
it's you telling me they're gonna give you an invoice for 5,000. If it's the city, they're gonna go 20,000.
there you go.
That means
They
10,000
painted
won't
my
be able
house.
to do that
Painted
much.
my house for $5,000.
Okay.
Painted one house for $5,000. If they'd give me that money and say, well, Beverly, go ahead and I'm going to give you $200 to start. When you buy the paint and everything, I'll show me the paint and I'll give you the rest of the money. Give you another percentage of the money. Continue your work, like being quarters or third, whatever. I'll give you the money that way. I would like to see it that way than using the city contractor, because what I could do with $10,000, you know, they're doing one job. They probably just do the front of the house for $10,000. That's wasting taxpayers' money. So I would like to see not the city use contractors. I would like to see the resident do the work themselves. If they need a contractor, they go ahead and find contractor for what
Let me
they
ask you a
need to do.
question, Mr. City Manager. If they come up with a licensed contractors that can pull permit from the city, how we allow that, and how can
Well,
that
again,
happen?
you open up the city to liability because there's no procurement process. Everything with, you know, there has to be a procurement process in order for us to
Let
do
me
a
hear from
program
the
like that.
city attorney.
Worst possible scenario, I'll give it to you. Best possible scenario was just alluded to. You save money. Worst possible scenario, you give the money to the property owner. The property owner
Not give them the money, like
you basically allow the property owner to choose a contractor. Supposing that contractor is not licensed.
Okay.
Supposing that contractor falls and breaks its back, or who knows what, or does really bad job on the property, the liability would likely be
when it's the
knocking-
city and
for
it's
sure,
more, it's more
absolutely.
reliable.
Yes.
Okay.
No, but the contractor would have its own license. The contractor would have their license, and the city would they would have to come and view the job to give, you know, they get the permit.
Yeah.
They have to get a permit, and they'll come in just as if they were doing if the contractor were doing the job, they'll have to come in and inspect the work to make sure it's done properly. It's the same thing. They have to have their insurance. They have to have their insurance. You hire a contractor, they have their insurance. So the city is not liable. They have their job. You give me the money, I get the person to do the work. The city is not liable. I've done this before. I've been my own contractor. I've gotten funds from the county to do my house, and I went through the same thing. I was my own contractor. I did a part of it. They come and they come and inspect the property. It's done. Give me another set of money. And each item I complete, I keep my receipts and my bill, and I would like to see that happen, because the resident could go much further with the money, giving them the opportunity to do their job themselves instead of hiring. I mean, doing my house, I was
Can you look
furious.
over the counties and see if they've done that before and see?
Well, what we can do is
it's one residence. Let's hear what everybody have to say about it.
Yeah, I've done it before, and I know it can be done.
Okay, no problem.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, brother.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Annie Montgomery, 2082 Laurel Lane. I'll be brief. Where is the 800,000 is coming from District 3? Is that 800,000 just going to be allocated to District 3, or is it going to be spread over all the needs
Is
of?
the project gonna be in 2 or 3 phases?
Okay, I wasn't quite finished.
Oh, okay. I was gonna.
That's okay. And where is the 1.9 million going to come from?
Okay.
Where are we going to find that? After listening to our accountant tonight, my other question is, how is this information going to be advertised to the public? Because even here in this small group, we're having a problem explaining it to the few people that are here. And how are we going to reach out to the people in need that these funds are going to go to? So those are my main concerns. My main concern is the 1.9 million.
Okay.
That's taxpayers' money, and I don't know how we can afford to do that.
No, but
Thank you.
And Annie, and that's taxpayers' money, and it's going back to the taxpayer anyway. I understand that the first
all the
800,000, the first 800,000 gonna be spent in District 3, the
Okay.
first phase of the project.
Okay.
throughout the year, the budget, the next year budget gonna come. If after he balances his budget, he feel like there is a 100,000, 200,000, or 300,000 that can be added to that project, he's gonna add it. Let's say we only can add 50,000. We're gonna add 50,000. If we can not add any money, we're gonna start with the first phase with the first 800,000. But the objective is fix about 270 homes. How long it's gonna take to do so, we don't know, because the budget manager is the one that's gonna come with the budget and see, can we find 1.9? No, we cannot find 1.9 to balance our budget. We only can find 100,000 from capital improvement. We only can find 300,000. If it's 100,000, then we're just gonna add 100,000 to the project for next year.
Yeah, I can.
But the first phase of 800,000 gonna be spent
in District 3, which was promised. That's what it should be.
Exactly.
Because that's what was promised. So then we don't even talk about the 800,000 for the rest of the city. For the rest of the city, we're talking about 1.9 million. And where is that 1.9 million going to come from? From the regular taxpayer, from me, everybody else in this room that are taxpayers. I don't think the project is great, but thank you very much. I think that we need to help. We need to help people, but
in the budget, let me explain something. We're not gonna go out of the budget. We have a budget.
Not. I don't think we can afford to.
District 3, we have some money. The first phase of the project, we are putting 800,000 for that, for District 3. If we, in the next fiscal year, starting October 1st, the budget manager said, hey, based on our budget, I can put another 100,000, another 200,000 for that project. That's fine. But if he said, no, we don't have the money, then we're going to wait until we have the money.
But let's not try and sell a pipe dream, because I don't think that's fair.
If it was you, let me ask you a question. If it was you, you will ask me to just come up with one project, 800,000 or $1 million only for District 3, and that's it?
Well,
take out the 1.9?
No, you have, it's been allocated for District 3.
Okay.
And that happened, it came up, and I agree that should stay in District 3.
Okay.
I think that should be whenever it takes a year or whatever it takes to do the District 3 with the 800,000.
That's what I would do. If it was you, you would put the 1.9.
Then I would have a forensic audit done to find out where we're at. We don't know where we're at.
We're gonna have that. We're working on that, Annie.
Well, okay.
We vote on it.
Okay.
Let me ask you a question.
Prove it.
Let me ask you a question. If it was you, you will put 1 million for District 3, and you will take out the 1.9.
800,000 for District 3. That's their money. That's what's allocated to them. That stays in District 3.
That's when you
the
don't
1.9, I don't know where we're going to get that from the rest of the city.
Okay.
So the rest of the city, we have to figure it out later on. But at this point, we don't have it. Thank you.
Good evening, Kevin Burns, 2065 Alamanda Drive. Good evening, Mr. Mayor and City Council members. The 800,000 is going to come out of the 1.5 million that was previously allocated, which is perfectly fine, and I'm 100% in favor of that. I don't think it's appropriate tonight to be planning 1.9 million for next year's budget when you're going to have budget workshops, you're going to have a budget hearings and so forth, worrying about next year's budget in September and October. That's why you have a budget workshop and budget programs, so things aren't piecemeal together. And I think it's inappropriate to try to already promise 1.9 million before you even open up your budget process for something, because you don't know the overall parameters, everything that's going on. The manager should definitely spend the 800,000, and then you have the balance of the 1.5, if there's anything left of that, to stay into District 3, which again has already been voted on. It's old news. Let's start spending the money.
Okay.
Now the way you spend the money, it's a hodgepodge recommendations. And why I'm saying it's hodgepodge is because you just talked about Marie Samuel's house and you talked about somebody's roofs. I've knocked on doors on people's houses where their roof was repaired because they had roof damage and the ceiling caved in. The city replaced the roof, go inside their living room, and there's a gaping hole in the ceiling where the drywall fell down. They didn't have the money to fix it, but guess what? The city money only went to the roof, but didn't go to the drywall inside the house, so all the AC and everything else, so the job was half completed. A roof that would have cost me $10,000, the city paid $17,000 for. So I agree with Beverly that says the city gets screwed, or I'm sorry, gets taken advantage of because the city's name's attached to it. If I have a family of healthy individuals that can say, listen, give me the buckets of paint, we'll paint it on a weekend, and we'll do it for $300-400, we should have the ability to do it, and I don't think the city's going to fall apart if one of my kids gets hurt while they're rolling the paint. So there's got to be a lot more flexibility, and if you can go out and get a contractor to do it cheaper than the city so-called designated one, they're going to have to do the same thing. They have a building department, they're going to ask for their insurance and so forth. But we got this little niche going on of preferred contractors where, if you ask me, I think some of them are saying, listen, you get this house, I'll get that house.
Mr. Burns, let's start new. Let me tell you something.
Okay.
Around the city of North Miami, I don't have any friends.
I'm not speaking to you about it, though.
Okay? I asked staff to come up with it. I don't care how you're going to get it done. I want about 100, whatever it is, 200 or 300 home to be repaired.
Great.
Whoever is going to be cheaper for the residents, for the constituents, I can care less about that.
Great.
If the city attorney, the city manager can come up with something where a licensed contractor design when to us by the resident can do the job. If we can find a way to do it, I don't have any problem with that. If another resident said, okay, I want the city to find a contractor, we don't have a problem with that.
Absolutely. Here's another quote. If you're going to do impact windows, and as you just said, you got a estimate for it. If the city thinks you're going to do 50 homes and you're going to do impact windows that are very expensive, I know Marie wasn't sure if she was getting 3 windows done out of the 5 windows.
Yeah.
Complete the house. If it takes 5 windows to get done, doing
you understand
3...
you understand some home only going to need paint. We're going to spend maybe about $1,000 on it. We're not going to give everybody $10,000.
Correct. You go back and forth. But complete the house. If you're going to put impact windows on the house, do all the windows, because having impact windows on one side of the house and not in the other is not going to do you any good.
That's when you say it's better in case we have a home where we need to spend about $12,000, $15,000, we're going to bring it to the council. The same thing we did with the roof program. The maximum amount was $18,000. When a roof costs $23,000, $21,000, $22,000, we bring it to the council for a vote.
And the other thing is, don't let everybody know how much you're willing to spend. If you're saying, listen, we'll spend up to $18,000 for a roof, and you advertise it, guess how much your roofs are going to come in? Every estimate's going to come in. It's coming in at $17,000, $18,000. Say, listen, how much are we going to get per square foot, the best price? But what I wanted to get at is on the impact windows. There's 2 or 3 manufacturers in all of South Florida that are allowed to manufacture those impact windows. Would it not be best to have the city manager or the procurement department go make a deal with the manufacturer of the windows and saying, listen, our contractors, we want a set price, whatever size it may be. We're going to buy $500,000 worth of windows. I guarantee you're going to get a better price than the individual going to buy 2 or 3 windows. So let the city get a government contract, a government pricing, and then as those windows are needed, you don't have to specify the size, but as they become needed for each house, you already know the set price that you got it's like going to Costco for windows. You got the best price because you're buying them in bulk, and then let the installer who's licensed to install them all install the same style windows, and again, just try to use the best, the volume of purchasing. And the same thing, we have excellent paint manufacturers on 7th Avenue, and if somebody wants to go out and paint their house, why don't we deal with the local paint stores on 7th
The
Avenue?
way we're gonna, I think we should have a workshop about how we're gonna do it. Let's finish.
Absolutely.
Let's get the approval
thank you.
first tonight. Then after that, we may have a workshop about how we're gonna spend the money.
I have to say something before you guys go on. My house was painted by the city of North Miami 2 years ago. And they took care of the whole thing. Those two ladies sitting over there and I have agreements, disagreements, but my house was done meticulously, and they took care of the whole thing.
Okay.
Awnings, pressure cleaning. They took care of the permits, hiring the people, and I think that it's wrong that you guys get involved with hiring your people. The city's in charge. They should be in charge of it all.
Which hire our people? Who you talking to?
The city hired contractors?
The community planning and development took care of everything.
They're the one that's gonna take in care of.
Right, but the way these people are talking, they want to hire their own painters.
Okay.
And they want to go
That
here.
means you will prefer that the city does
Right.
it the way we've been doing
The
it.
way you guys
Okay.
have done it, it was done perfectly. I mean, I have a couple snags now, and the roof thing that Kevin Burns was talking about, you have to have homeowners insurance when you apply for this loan,
Yeah.
this grant.
Mhm.
Okay, my roof fell in with Tropical Storm Gordon, and my insurance paid for the inside, and the city did the other roof in '95. So he can't tell me that somebody had a boo-boo because he's wrong. You have to have homeowners insurance to be able to get the grant, and homeowners insurance took care of the inside, and the outside is what the city took care of.
Okay.
And Beverly is wrong. when
Thank
she-
you.
Thank you, Marie.
Thank you.
Has something to say.
You always can come back. You have 2 minutes. And
For the record, she didn't identify herself. That was Marie Samuel speaking, because they are transposing minutes later on. So
okay.
I have something to say that Carol Keys is sitting there, and she's my councilwoman, and she's doing nothing, saying nothing. And that lady with the pink hat over there, and you...
She's listening to you.
Yeah, but she's not saying anything.
She's gonna say something. Don't worry.
I just think that lady with the pink
She's
hat...
gonna
and
say
you
something.
...are working on District 3, but nobody's ever working
But-
on District 2.
But in order for you to get that, you're gonna need a support. She don't have to talk.
Well, I think you did a good job with the paint job. And I mean, there wasn't a speck of paint missing in the wrong place anywhere.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Marie.
Mrs. Blen,
Yes, thank you.
you already spoke
I haven't spoken.
in your email.
Esther Blinn, 1990 Northeast 118th Road. Okay, what I actually came over here after coming back from work and turning on the TV and listening to this tab E discussion by the citizens. So first off, there was a program proposed and implemented by former Councilman Blinn called America in Bloom, which was a beautification program at nominal cost that made the city eligible for grants. Never, ever did I see us apply. If you go on the website for America in Bloom, they have such projects as in the places, very distressed places in Detroit, Michigan, for example. They have what's called parklets, where city land that's otherwise useless, the size of a parking space, I kid you not, is created into a little park area for citizens. That's number one. You are not talking about beautification. You're talking about necessities for safety. That is not beautification. That is subject to and eligible for federal grants for distressed homes and so forth. Again, on behalf of, not on this topic, but on every topic, on behalf of the Sans Souci homeowners, We plead with you, instead of allocating for 800 homes, to hire a grant writer to get everyone upgraded. I don't hear beautification. An impact window is not beautification. If you go on the website for America in Bloom, as I said, which the city should have renewed this year, which I don't know if they did, it was proposed and implemented under the prior council. And I don't hear of it at all. At all. Cities poorer than ours are getting huge amounts of money through grants and community collaboration. So I would table this and try to find funds so that you can use this money for the benefit of the entire city, because it is totally, we're talking about roofs and hurricane prevention and protection. You're not talking about beautification. Beautification is plants, trees, improvements of sidewalks and streets and parks.
Maybe we should change the name.
Upsetting.
And Mrs. Blaine, I agree with you, because I went to the U.S. We're not gonna table it, because if we're gonna apply for a federal grant, it's gonna take months and months, maybe for the next fiscal year for 2014, 2015. But I went to the U.S. Conference of Mayors, and you can see how many programs, how many projects they realize with federal and state money. It looks like they only spend 20 to 30% of the city's fund to finance those programs. You went in there, you see all the presentation. I spoke to a lot of mayors, and I remember I spoke to the previous city manager, and I told him, why don't we hire a grant writer? And because don't we have so many grants out there? And she said we don't have that much available. But when I went to the U.S. Conference of Mayors, man, it looks like whatever you want, you can find the money.
That's right. But
we
you have to have
just need the right people to know where it is, how to classify the project, and where to go and apply for it. I think that's something we should consider, because even that beautification things for the impact windows, you will find federal grant. For beautifications and plant, you will find federal fund. If you need energy efficiency, you're going to find federal or state money. As a matter of fact, they have money sitting in the bank waiting for cities, municipalities to apply for.
Right.
I
so
think
we should table this. And
Mrs. Blaine, we're not going to table it, but what we're going to do, we're going to try to find maybe a grant writer if the city manager and is okay with that, and it's the council is okay with that. And next time when we have something to do in the city, we don't have to use the taxpayers' money. We will use federal government money instead. Okay,
consider doing
it's still taxpayers' money. Sorry to say that, but at least we're gonna have help from the government.
Well, I repeat,
Thank you.
I think you should. If you don't table it, I think you should vote it down.
No, we're gonna vote for it. Thank you.
How do you know?
And yes.
Mr. Mayor, may we respectfully ask speakers to keep it to 2 minutes?
2 minutes, okay?
We're already well into an hour on this discussion, and we have a lot of things.
It's not the speakers. You guys having a conversation with them, which
Well, sometimes
should be
taxpayers, it should happen. It's taxpayers' money. We're talking to the taxpayer. If you want, sometimes you have thousands of people home that just sometimes want to understand. Sometimes by talking, by exchanging words, and they better understand what we are doing. But we're going to keep it 2 minutes.
Not even that.
Okay.
My name is Mariana Joseph. I live on 1015 East 141st Street. I talked to the mayor about 10th Avenue need to be light.
No lights.
It's very dark. We keep putting a cycle. It look beautiful, but
we don't put cycles on 10th Avenue because it's a county road. We cannot touch it. Okay, on 11. Okay.
I just need a staff here. I need help for my house.
Okay.
Because you say you got money for this, for that. Please, can you look at my address and look somebody's passing by to see my roof is terrible. Please help me.
Did you apply before for the roof?
They asked me so many papers, but you're gonna help me, you know, suppose
We're
I have so many
we're just
pages.
gonna open the
Your address again,
registration and
1050 Northeast,
141.
Street.
14. Okay. I'll pass by and see you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. And to make it short, can I make a motion?
Very short.
And
because you kind of rushed me through.
that's why I was gonna make the motion right now.
Okay. Well, the way you have it written, you don't. The way you have the item, it doesn't say the money is just going for.
That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make a motion.
All right, but I just want to say two more things because
Okay.
you rushed me that I had on my list, which is, you know, this lady that got up here and said something about the pink hat. She said I got my roof done. I got my fence done. I had my house painted. It seems like every time there's been a grant, this one lady gets all of it. And I think the problem goes back to what I think Annie Montgomery said, is there needs to be a way that people know about it. Because there's an elderly lady on my street who her roof is leaking, her house needs to be painted, her fence needs to be done, her driveway needs to be done. And this woman says, you know what, I think I don't want y'all to come out tomorrow because I'm going to apply for the next one. That's a problem. We used to get newsletters when I first moved here, so you knew what was going on.
Okay.
It's not fair that just a few people keep getting everything.
What you want us to do? You want us to advertise on the Herald and everywhere everybody
I think
can.
that a lot of people, because I walk District 3. I have met a lot of people in District 3. Most of these people are elderly people that don't even come out of their houses. They're not computer literate. I can't even find you on my TV channel 17.
Okay.
I think that you need to mail out a quarterly newsletter to let people know what's happening and how they can apply.
Okay,
Because
instead
it's
of
not
put
fair
everything
that-
online.
Put
and
everything online or come on this thing here and
Okay,
talk
okay,
about it. And I
okay.
also think you do need to modify this thing that this money goes to district.
Yeah, we're gonna do that. Alim, did you take note? That's mean.
Mayor, real quick,
Uh-huh.
by the way, her suggestion was awesome. The city clerk office sends out an annual report as to what's going on, and the public loves it. So if the city
No, but
administration,
we're not talking about. You're not talking about projects.
no, we're
talking
that's
about.
what I'm saying. That's what we do from our end, but from your end,
Oh,
I think
yeah,
her
okay,
advice is
okay.
a great advice because
Yeah.
the city
Because
loves
people want
that.
to know.
They
Sometimes
wanna
we
know.
say we don't have enough people. Like right now, I think we have 300,000 for home beautification, something from CDBG fund. We don't have people applying for it. It's because some people don't know. We have about $50,000 for painting. Nobody apply for it, and we are at the end of the fiscal year.
Great idea back here. Let the information go out with the water bill.
Okay.
Everybody has to get the water bill.
Yeah, okay. You see that exactly.
We do post it.
Exactly. You can put a page with the water bill and explain them exactly what's going on. Yeah, that's a good idea. Yes.
China Lucia, 12880 Griffin Boulevard. Lady with the blue polka dot headband. I'm actually for this if we really do prioritize it for seniors. I also have really pounded the pavement in my district, and we've got a lot of seniors that are really in home distress in District 3. We've talked about this before with certain programs like this. We need to get a constituent committee together to join with whoever is going to be making the decisions as to who gets this
Like
money.
a task force.
Get a constituent committee together. Maybe one person from each district, because I get it. Look at us here tonight. If there's too many of us, you'll never get anything done. So keep it limited, but get a few constituents together and form a committee so they can be a part of this. Because if we don't, all hell breaks loose, and then this one lady, like, we're buying her a house. Thank you.
Thank you. And public hearing is now closed now, and I want to make a motion. Should I move it for discussion before I make the motion, or can I just come up with the motion? And the motion that I'm going to make, instead of putting $2.7 million for the entire city and put pressure on the budget manager and staff to find that 1.9, we're going to try to do it on phases, on different phases. And we have some money from capital improvement, about $790,000. And capital improvement, if we can take $200,000 from that capital improvement project and put it on the $800,000, and we're gonna make it $1 million allocated for capital for that project in District 3. That will be my motion. 1 million for District 3. 800,000 from the 1.5. It's 800 from the 1.5, but 200,000 from the capital improvement. The money is in the budget. It's there.
Can we?
I want to hear a second. I want to hear a second. If we're going to belabor this discussion, please, somebody second.
Can you hear something? Go ahead.
I'll second it for discussion.
Okay.
Okay. Respectfully, I think what you do with your 800,000 for your district is fine. I think it's a good project, and I think it's good that you're doing it with a program. You're not just giving out the money. I think that's great. You've already taken $1.5 million from Biscayne Landing for your district.
No, it's from that same money.
I know, but you've taken $1.5 million for your district,
Okay.
and the other districts have received nothing. I would like to see the 800,000, but if we take another 200,000 from the capital improvement, could that 200,000 go for the entire city? Does it have to be all for District 3? Would you
We
consider
can
that?
do it. For the
Okay.
entire city.
Okay.
The
So-
200,000. Do you understand? 800,000 gonna go
Otherwise,
for the
Mrs. Sa-
district. The other 200,000 gonna go for the rest of the city.
Otherwise,
as,
Mrs.
as the
Samuels
first
can't get
phase
her
of the
windows.
project. Exactly. 200,000 gonna go. And Councilwoman Keys seconded
with that friendly amendment.
with that friendly amendment, and I know Councilman Scott Galvin gonna vote for it. And let's hear from Councilwoman Mary-Ellen Steele.
So can I ask?
I have plenty of questions whenever it's
I have,
We're gonna.
and I have some discussion too. I mean, if
Okay,
we're-
no problem.
I don't know. The 200,000 you said comes from capital improvement, so it's coming from this year's capital improvement fund.
This year.
Okay.
That money was there.
It was- I
we
know.
haven't spent. We did not
Well-
spend. We have about 400 allocated. We're gonna take 200 from it.
'Cause we're
That's
still-
correct. We have
Okay.
about
Because we're
Exactly.
still,
Close
'cause
to
we're
about
still doing some
450
sidewalk
allocated.
We're
improvement.
still gonna do it.
Okay.
We're still gonna have your 200,000 for the
So
sidewalk.
a couple questions on your program, which
No,
I
she's
think.
gonna. Councilwoman gonna talk first.
Oh,
And
okay.
after that, it's yours.
Excuse me. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
What is it? Your turn.
Discussion on tab E.
It's so many things I said about tab E. I'm not even sure exactly what is it because as your constituent mentioned, the money was allocated to District 3, which I am 100% for it. It does not matter to me how you want to use it because it's your district and you represent your people and the money is there. I am in full support of whatever the remainder of the money that you have that was allocated. How much money that the District 3 actually have left, Mr. City Manager?
From what was just handed to
From
me.
the $1.5 million.
From the 1.5, you have approximately 1,100,000 remaining.
So from that 1.1, you want to use 1 million of that.
800.
You want to use 800, and then where you gonna get the other 200 from?
The other 200 is for you. It's not for me.
Oh
It's for
well,
the district.
I really appreciate it. So why
The other
don't we?
200 is for the.
Okay, why don't we do it this way? Why don't we focus on your district, not to confuse it?
No, we're not gonna confuse it because Councilwoman.
Sir?
Okay, go ahead.
It's gonna be your vote and it's gonna be mine. And right now, it's you asking me to giving you my point of view.
Okay.
What I'm asking, what I'm suggesting is that let's not confusing the program like it happened the first time when we initially allocated the $1.5 million. Some of us up here thought it was for the entire city. When I knew it was for District 3, then we have to go back and vote it because we tried to be slick about it. But I'm just going to make it clear. I don't want to hear it. I don't want it to come back. If you want to do, as it was advertised, a project for the entire city, $1.1 million, I voted for it as well. But if you want to do something for your district, which your people, I think, deserve it, I am here to support it. But if let's not say 8 million 800 is for District 3, 200 for the entire city, it wouldn't make any sense. because I would request for something specific for my district. So we're going to create a precedent where people's going to call me tomorrow, why you are not fighting to get more money for your district, which that's not what discussing. What discussing tonight is that you have money allocated for your district, that you choose to use it different ways. I am in full support of it. Right now, my support is for you to use the money however that you want. In District 3, I want to make it clear, I am in support of your $1.1 million to be used however you want, but I am not in support of mixing your money with the city other project. I don't think it's fair to you, and it's kind of confusing.
Okay, and we still have a motion of Councilwoman Carol Keys make the motion and to get an additional of 200,000 from the capital improvement because I'm pretty much sure she has some constituent in the district. She have people in District 2.
Yeah.
It's not.
And then she wants the $200,000 for your district. I'll have to want for my district.
Mrs. Samuels needs her windows, and she's in my district.
Good.
And she won't get it if we don't get money from the capital improvement.
Okay. And now let's turn it to Councilman Scott Galvin.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. All right, here are my problems. There's no way that we're going to spend legitimately $800,000 or $1 million in the next 3 months. There are only 3 months remaining in this budget year.
We're not going to spend it in 3 months because we have to do all the process. That's something that I'm thinking for by Thanksgiving or by Christmas. We're not going to have anything done in 2 months. You know how government work hard to open all those things, to do all the workshop, to bring people illicit. It's not something that's going to don't take 1 or 2 months. And when I came with the project, I was thinking by Thanksgiving, let's help everybody. Maybe by Christmas. That's mean the procurement and all those things going to take 1 or 2 months. And we are in we're going to be in July, and we're going to have election.
Here's why I can't vote for it this evening as it stands. First, we have to remove any future budget commitment. 1.9 million needs to be absolutely off the table.
Oh, I make the motion to take it out. So it's out. There's no 1.9.
Secondly, there cannot be that many. Your regulations are stringent. If there are 800 homes in District 3, for instance, just in general, okay, are there 800 that would meet this qualification? These qualifications?
It's about 800. It's about 80. Okay. Only 80. About 80. It's not a lot.
$10,000 per person.
80 times 10,000?
800. Yeah, 800. It's about 80. It's not a lot. It's about 80. It's 80.
Okay, Scott, but
all right, I'm not voting for the 200,000. Here's the thing. I love District 3. I don't see the districts. I've been here my whole life, so I hate when we get into this debate over my district, your district. I don't see that. I voted for the $1.5 million for sidewalks, knowing a year ago there's no way we were going to spend all that money, but at least it was appropriated to something that was legitimate. Okay. I see this being a need. I see there being a need. I can see where this money could be used properly. I don't like that staff did all of this work. And I found out when I looked online for the agenda on Saturday or Friday, maybe it was published, but I wasn't given much time to digest any of this. If y'all are going to invest this kind of time in projects like this, quit surprising your council members. We're one family. I said this under the budget. Bring us all into the discussion. To me, it's just not fair to have this sprung on me and sit here having to, because what's going to happen is I can vote for this tonight, and he's the hero. And then my district is going, why aren't you doing this for District 1? We can't afford to do this all over the city. I just don't like, Your Honor, I understand that, Your Honor. Thank you. My problem is that my staff isn't communicating things with me. You can hear me being torn right now. But this money is only good for this remainder of this budget year. How do you handle that? Let me ask this question then. Let's say we get to October 1st and we've only spent half of this money. How do we handle that budget-wise?
Half of which money? The 800,000?
800,000.
No, the money is allocated for a project. That means it's gonna roll over to
roll it over?
Yeah. We won't be. Let me.
I'm going to vote yes. I don't like this, but I'm going to vote yes. But I'm going to be watching this bad boy like a hawk.
That's good. That's
and
good.
if anybody dares do something funny with some of this money, fear my wrath.
That's good.
May I, sir?
And council.